Welcome back. All right, so we talked about Sweden and Finland's rosters earlier. We are going to talk about Canada's and the United States as well. So Canada here, USA here, and let the debate rage on. And when Finland ends up winning this thing, I'm not going to be overly surprised because I'm already hearing like, well, Finland doesn't quite have the depth that the other countries do, and so in like best on best, and I understand they have the longest odds, but Finland has a real reputation for overachieving at international tournaments, and so we'll see. But let's go through Team Canada first. Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers, 25 games, 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. And then the first of a few Tampa Bay Lightning members, Anthony Cirelli, 23 games, 10 goals, 13 assists, 23 points. He'll be playing a checking role. Bennett's going to be playing a checking role in all likelihood as well. Sidney Crosby, 27 games, 8 goals, 18 assists, 26 points. Brandon Hagel, another Tampa Bay Lightning member, 23 games, 10 goals, 19 assists, 29 points. Seth Jarvis, 18 games, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points. Travis Konechny, 25 games, 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. Konechny, a bit of a surprise, so was Jarvis. And honestly, looking at this roster, I do have a few that I consider to be kind of head scratchers, but we'll do a video on that tomorrow. I'll do a video on players who did not make it onto Team Canada and Team USA and look at whether or not we can come up with a second team for each country that could at least compete with the first team. Nathan MacKinnon, 26 games for Colorado. We knew he was going to make it. 9 goals, 30 assists, 39 points. Be interesting to see if he plays with Crosby, and I understand they're both centers, but in international tournaments, you just never know who's going to play with who. Brad Marchand, 27 games, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points. He'll be in a bottom 6 role for sure. Mitch Marner, 24 games, 9 goals, 24 assists, 33 points. McDavid, 22 games, 12 goals, 19 assists, 31 points. We'll see if McDavid plays with Crosby as well, because I think if you're John Cooper, you're at least going to try it. Braden Point, 19 games, 16 goals, 5 assists, 21 points. He's been a pure goal scorer in the NHL this year. Sam Reinhart, one of the best goal scorers all around, 26 games, 18 goals, 16 assists, 34 points so far. So that's 2 Florida Panthers on Team Canada. Mark Stone, 13 games played with Vegas, 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points. And then we get to the blue line. And the blue line, there are a few that are a bit of a surprise. Cale Makar, 26 games, 8 goals, 24 assists, 32 points. Not a surprise at all. There is no surprise to Cale Makar being on the team. Josh Morrissey, not a surprise either. 26 games, 2 goals, 21 assists, 23 points. Parayko is a bit of a surprise. It's a bigger defense that the Americans have than the Canadians, but Parayko, I believe, being one of those over 6 feet tall. 26 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. Alex Pietrangelo, 23 games, 2 goals, 13 assists, 15 points. Travis Sanheim, a bit of an eyebrow raiser. I thought Dougie Hamilton was going to make it. Like, Dougie Hamilton's been having an amazing run so far this year. I'm kind of surprised Sanheim gets in there. 25 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. And I'm not saying that as an insult to Sanheim. I'm just saying it as somebody who's been watching the Devils this year, and I think Hamilton's been great. Shea Theodore, 25 games, 1 goal, 17 assists, 18 points. And then Devon Taves, 22 games, 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points. It is noteworthy. You have Theodore and Pietrangelo, very familiar with each other. Taves and Makar, we know they're familiar with each other, so that's 4 defensemen right there. And they've got Morrissey, Parayko, and Sanheim, who round out, and 2 of those players are going to be the bottom pairing, again, barring injury, right? And then there's the goaltending. And for all the discussion of the goaltending, I don't think that's what's going to determine whether or not there's success here. I don't think this is a team that's built that way. I think it's going to be timely scoring and really smart defensive play by the defensive forwards they got on this team. So Jordan Binnington, 7-9-2 record, 899 save percentage. Aiden Hill in Vegas, 11-4-2 with a 900 save percentage. And Sam Montembeault from Montreal, 7-10-2 record, 901 save percentage. And I would expect Aiden Hill to be the starter, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Montembeault end up getting in there. He's had a good year for Montreal, and so for Habs fans, you have a reason to watch the tournament, of course. I would think a lot of people are going to watch this. I am going to be interested to see just how much excitement there is around this tournament. Because I've seen the question asked on social media, are you excited for this? And the results not being like exuberance on behalf of hockey fans. But this is what the NHL is doing. We'll see how it goes this year. Can we also use this as an example of how the whole you have to have one player from every team for an All-Star game now becomes really silly because like there was no rule about having to have players from every team for this tournament. So I'm pretty sure every team's represented anyways, but there wasn't a rule for that. Anyways, Team USA, and I looking at these rosters, I honestly think Team USA has a bit of an edge. Although there's some head scratchers here too. Caulfield didn't make it, Keller didn't make it, Tage Thompson, Jason Robertson. There are some really surprising omissions here. I would say especially Keller and especially Tage. Big physical forward who can play that bottom six role if you want him to in an international tournament. But Matt Boldy, 25 games, 11 goals, 13 assists, 24 points. People know I'm a fan of his game, as well as Kyle Connor, 26 games, 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points with the Jets. Jack Eichel, 26 games, 8 goals, 28 assists, 36 points, as there's a Vegas flavor to both the Canadian and American rosters here. Jake Gensel, 23 games, 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points for Jake so far this year. Jack Hughes, 28 games, 11 goals, 22 assists, 33 points. Chris Kreider, a bit of a surprise. Kreider's in the lineup ahead of those other names I mentioned. 21 games, he's got 10 goals, no assists. Dylan Larkin, 25 games, 12 goals, 8 assists, 20 points for him. Austin Matthews, not a surprise. He's there, of course. Just the 15 games played so far this season, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. JT Miller, who is currently on leave, and the fact that he's still named to the team, I, as a Canuck fan, take that as good news that JT Miller should be back soon. 17 games, 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points, or it's just wish fulfillment on my part. Either way, hey. Brock Nelson, 26 games, 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 points. Brady Tkachuk, 24 games, 13 goals, 15 assists, 28 points. One of the ones I didn't mention that didn't make it onto the American roster that I'm kind of surprised by is Brock Besser. Matthew Tkachuk, 27 games, 7 goals, 16 assists, 23 points. So do the Tkachuks play together? I would think they probably do, but we'll see what happens. And Vinny Trocheck, a bit of a surprise to see him there for some. 24 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. So two Ranger forwards there who Ranger fans will tell you, but Zibanejad was named to the Swedish team, and I've definitely heard a lot of stuff said about Zibanejad this year too. So there are some interesting picks. Then you get to the blue line, and this is, for my money, the best blue line of any of the four nations. And this could be what drives the Americans towards winning this, is the combination of the defense and the goaltending. No insult meant to the Canadian team, but listen to this. You got Brock Faber, 25 games, 3 goals, 10 assists, 13 points. Adam Fox, 20 assists in 24 games. Noah Hannafin, 26 games, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points, and I think he's an underrated defenseman. Quinn Hughes, 24 games, 6 goals, 23 assists, 29 points. So you could have Hughes and Fox playing together as a, for instance. Charlie McAvoy, 27 games, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. He's been playing better lately. Jacob Slavin, one of the best defensive defensemen in the National Hockey League, 25 games, 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points. And Zach Werenski having a monster season, 24 games, 8 goals, 18 assists, 26 points. So just looking at this, your top four would be what? Fox, Hughes, Faber, and Werenski. So, like, you could have Slavin, McAvoy as your third pairing, and Hannafin as a healthy scratch. I mean, come on now. Then you get to the blue line. Like, seriously, this just feels like it's not fair to have that many great. But again, I'm going to talk about who Canada overlooked in their selections, and I think both countries have some head scratchers in there. But in net, no head scratchers here for me, anyways. Connor Hellebuck. 15-5 record, 927 save percentage. We know how darn good he is, and we know how good Jake Ottinger is. 13-4 record, 915 save percentage. And Jeremy Swayman of the Bruins makes it onto the team. Record of 7-9-2, 892 save percentage. So in Canada, you can go, well, we're not sure who the starter might be. It's probably going to be Hill. And on the American side, you could say it doesn't really matter who the starter is. They're going to be fantastic. I know Swayman's numbers have been down, but they've been getting better lately. And I think Swayman is overall an excellent goaltender. So I'm leaning towards the Americans in terms of who I think is going to win this. In fact, I would say I could see a scenario where the U.S. wins it in a final against Finland. Because I feel like Finland's going to be underrated from now until Four Nations gets started. If you are Finnish, you are used to the fact that they get overlooked when it comes to international tournaments. They also have a very good track record. So I may do a video over the next couple of days too about international tournaments, look at Olympics, World Championships, and countries that achieve a lot when maybe not expected to. And I won't restrict it to just the four nations here, because there's time that the Germans have done quite well that it wasn't expected. The Swiss come to mind too. So definitely a lot to discuss with this roster, that roster, and the tournament that is upcoming. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the choices made by Canada and the US. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.